Tanner Mills, Minnesota Vikings. Just want to win one before I die.
I'm Riley Mills, and I didn't go to college. Bear down, baby.
Lane Cooner, the conductor of the Baker train.
What is up, everybody? Spoon and Riley joining the podcast today. Hosting, as always, is your boy Bryn. We are going to do a little post-game recap for Week 10. But before we get into that, make sure you make sure you subscribe to the channel. We really appreciate it. Won't harp on that too much. We're going to get things rolling here. Every week we do a biggest MVP and a biggest loser from the prior week. So we're going to jump right into that. I'll start with my MVP. I kind of touched on this in the top 10 video that we did for this week, but and it's going to be a homer take, but the Minnesota Vikings defense. The only reason we got to win the game was the defense. The offense was dominant in every aspect except for the scoreboard where it matters most. We couldn't put points up. We were able to accumulate yards, do whatever we wanted on the ground. It just didn't go our way offensively in the red zone, 0 for 5 in the red zone, and so you can't score touchdowns that way, obviously. But the defense on the other side of the ball, they give up one score. They've now given up 2 touchdowns in the past 2 games. They're number 3 in the league in points per game, number 1 in DVOA, which, if you don't know, is the success per play compared to the average. So if the average yards gained on a player are 3 and you hold them to -2, that's a -5 DVOA. They're number 2 in efficiency per attempt, so how efficient the defense is. They're just playing great all around. They've had a couple, I'd say 2 bad games all season. So I'm loving the Vikings defense. A little bit of a homer take, but I'm okay with it this week. Haven't done any homer takes on the MVPs yet this year. And I feel like the Vikings deserve a little love. Riley, you got an MVP?
Yeah, so my MVP, and it's really for the year, not quite this week.
That's fine.
But the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, coming into the season, I really didn't have high expectations for Harbaugh. I figured it would take him a year to implement his system, get the guys he wanted before they'd have a whole lot of success. But they're quietly sitting at 6-3. They have a wild card spot. They're on a 3-game win streak. I mean, the Chargers could be a
sneaky playoff team.
A sneaky playoff team this year.
Like sneak a win in the playoffs.
Year. Yeah.
Yeah, like sneak in and then get a win. Like they're the number 1 points per game defense in the league. Harbaugh, I think he sent a message over the offseason when he traded away Keenan Allen, traded to let Mike Williams go, and kept the 2, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. And I think he sent the message of, we're going to fucking play defense, and we're going to run the ball, and we're going to be physical.
And if I'm the Chiefs, I'm sweating for years to come. I mean, this is what he's done in 1 year. What will it look like 2-3 years from now?
And this is exactly what he did in San Francisco. San Francisco was not good. And he came in, established a culture, said, we're going to fucking win, and we're going to win with a tough mentality and be about it. Like, don't talk about it, just be about it.
I will say Justin Herbert has not been wowing in the stat column.
But he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to.
I mean, they're winning games.
That's never good. He's never gonna, with Harbaugh as the head coach, he's never gonna throw for 450 yards a game every week. Harbaugh would be just irate if they had to do that. He wants to run the ball. He wants to use the line. He wants to use play action, and he wants to win the game defensively, and that's what he's doing. Spoon, you got an MVP?
Yeah, it's kind of a 2-parter for the same team. I'm going with Kyler Murray because, first of all, COD was just released, 2 weeks ago, and he just played a perfect game. Almost.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
He went 22 for 24, passing 266 yards and a touchdown, no interceptions. That's just great. And then, obviously, the Cardinals' defense didn't really give up many points to the New York Jets. Obviously, the Jets' offense is kind of bad, but they still have some pretty good weapons on it. And to only give up 2 field goals to them, like, this game was over at halftime.
So Spoon, you are doing me such a favor right now without even knowing it. He has no clue. Because two things. One, tune in this Friday to the Friday Film Room, and you'll get to watch us break down Kyler Murray, who will be our
Oh, let's
film
go.
room stud of the week. We're gonna do the Friday Film Room. That'll be on
Cool.
the channel. Make sure to go check it out this Friday. And then second, my biggest loser is the New York Jets. They have now lost 6 of their last 7 games. When Robert Saleh was fired, they were 3rd in points per game. They're now 10th. Like, they have just continued to take steps back in every way. They go out, they get Devontae Adams. They put up 6 points in his 3rd week. Like, I think he had 4 targets. Like, they have Breece Hall, they have Garrett Wilson, they have Devontae Adams, they have a good line, they have Aaron Rodgers. Like, there is no excuse for this offense to be performing this poorly, and yet every week they come out and put up a dud. They are the most underwhelming team in the NFL, in my opinion, and that's saying something because of how bad the Bears have been playing. And I'm sorry, Riley, but you said it. You know, you said it yourself. Sell the team, right? Like, you're on that page. That's not a dig at you. I'm just saying that the Bears have been doing.
I would wake up
great.
happy if I found out the Bears would put on Facebook Marketplace or wherever.
But yeah, no, the Jets are my biggest losers. So thank you for that, Spoon. Thank you for that little intro to both the Friday Film Room featuring Kyler Murray this week and the Jets being my biggest loser. Who's got their biggest loser ready?
So I could make this segment just about the Bears, but I feel bad doing that every week.
Yeah.
My biggest loser this week is the Cincinnati Bengals. And
Brother, you stole it. You stole it from me.
Did I?
You stole it.
Maybe I should have made it about the Bears.
Well, I'll say I'll add to it. I was gonna more specifically go for the Bengals defense.
Yes. I chose the Bengals as a whole because I feel like every week one side of the ball has let the other down. Now, more often than not, it's the defense not playing bad, but there's been games where the defense held them to under 20 points and the offense couldn't score 20 points.
Yeah.
I think when I counted of the 10 games that have been played, I think 7 of them, they got beat by more than a score. It's just like, how many close games are you going to have before you finally pull one out? And I think this Ravens game, if they would have won, we could have been talking about, this is the turning point the Bengals needed.
Yeah, they only have 4 games this year that have been decided by 1 score or more. And their offense is putting up points every week, 470, 370, 304, 442, 436. I mean, they're putting up yards. It's just their defense is that bad.
Yeah.
So, I was going to counter that, and I was going to say, so Jamar Chase has had probably the game of his life so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
Single-handedly lost me a fantasy football.
Yeah.
I was privy to a league in which Jamar Chase went off and he lost. The dude lost.
How?
With Jamar Chase. It was 150 to 152.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But
right,
anyway, Jamar Chase obviously put up 264 yards, 3 touchdowns. Joe Burrow throwing for 428 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, where the game really just came to where the Ravens took over the 4th quarter.
Yeah, and I mean,
the Ravens,
Lamar went full Lamar in this game. He, I believe, I'll pull it up real quick. He had, a 141.4 passer rating in this game.
Yeah.
Like, he didn't even have to run the ball, really.
But midway through the 3rd quarter, the Bengals are up 21-7. They end up giving up 3 touchdowns in the 4th quarter and then 1 touchdown at the last 4 minutes of the 3rd quarter. You cannot be giving up 28 minutes in that such short span of time and expect to win.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was just crazy to me.
Nope. Well, that's our biggest winners, biggest losers. Are you guys ready to be held accountable?
Always.
All right. So if this is your first time joining the show. Throughout the off season, every week we would break down 1 week of the schedule. We would pick winners, pick losers. The only rule was if there was a tie goes to the home team. So far this season, we're about 55% on the year, and we pulled it up last week. People who pick the games weekly with in-season knowledge are at about 55 to 60% on the year. So we've been doing pretty good. Let me pull that up for us here. I'm going to pull up the screen. All righty. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit so everybody can see everything. There we go. So, all right. Here it is. 7 for 7 this week, 85 and 67 on the season with a 56% correct pick percentage. We're over 50%, and we picked this week back in July. We started in early May and went all the way up until the season started, picking a week at a time, maybe 2 weeks here and there. But, you know, I'm not too mad about a lot of these. We probably should have picked Indy different, but we were all pretty low on Buffalo except for Riley. I know I was the only one to pick Minnesota over Jacksonville because I'm a homer, but Jacksonville never scared me. Atlanta losing was a weird one, and then the primetime games was a weird one. Dallas getting dominated because of the injuries. Houston losing. We do have a incorrect prediction.
Hey, at least you had over 100.
We did have. I remember being so baffled by this that Spoon was like, "Yeah, Gibbs will have over 200 all-purpose yards." I'm like, "No chance." But that doesn't come to fruition either. And then the Rams losing at home to the Dolphins. That's really surprising to me. I think that caught everybody by surprise. But yeah, so 7 for 7, 85 and 67 on the year with a 56% correct prediction percentage. How do you guys feel about that?
I mean,
I feel like you two were the ones that picked Houston, and me and Dalton were the ones that picked Detroit. We could
Probably.
have had an easy win there.
Probably. Well, but
No.
like that, this was close with a depleted Texans team. If the Texans were healthy, they would have on Detroit. Like this would not have been
and
close.
Jacksonville are tanking our stats right now. Because we had Detroit coming in at like 2-12, and Jacksonville I think had a winning record.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, Denver's killing our stats too.
Yeah,
'Cause we thought Denver was going
tanking.
to do bad.
I was not as low on Denver as you
I
guys
was.
coming in. I did not think
was.
they'd be this good.
The Chiefs are tanking our stats a little bit. We didn't think the Chiefs would do as well as they did or have been doing. We had
The Cowboys
them
are
at 10-7.
100% tanking.
Dallas is tanking it. San Francisco's hurt us a lot. We had them at 13-4.
Yeah.
Green Bay we had at 10-7. Chicago we had at 9-8. Cincinnati we had at 12-5. I mean, we've been pretty hit and miss. Like I said, 56% on the season is not terrible, but it's also not great. Yeah. So you guys have anything else you want to add before we hop off here? There's been no real trade deadlines passed, so there's no real news or notes or anything that's changing crazy. Injury news wise, we haven't found anything out about next week yet because it's only Tuesday. So we record this on Tuesday, posted on Wednesdays. So don't really know anything on that front yet. We'll find out tomorrow at around 3:00 Pacific Standard Time about injury report.
I am hearing that Nico's supposed to be coming back.
Yeah. He practiced last week. He was potentially going to play. Then they sat him at the last second. So
McCaffrey, hope so.
McCaffrey will obviously be back again. He played last week. Played, to my knowledge, without getting hurt again. So yeah, no real news or notes yet. So
do we know if Dak is out for the season?
He's contemplating season-ending surgery. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Most likely, yes. But yeah, so that's it for us. Make sure to tune in to our other Wednesday episode that we're going to post. That is the Week 11 pregame show. So we're going to go over all the spreads. We'll talk all things Week 11. So make sure to tune into that. Other than that, have a good one.